What's going on, people? Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to another video. Hopefully, you guys are as calm and just relax for a bit after that yesterday's terrible defeat by Chelsea against Real Madrid. I am actually I haven't forgot about it, but I'm just relaxing because at least we're in the Easter holidays, so at least that's a good thing. I can still rest, I can still enjoy myself. So yeah, I mean. It is what it is, but today's video is going to be the Premier League predictions match day 32. Even though, even though it's game week 29 because of the pandemic, online it's game week 32. So yeah, if there's no Omicron or no coronavirus whatsoever, then yeah. But in fact, all teams have got games in hand. Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, all of them have got games in hand. So yeah, this season may not end on the final day. There could be games after this, like the Chelsea versus Leicester game and the Chelsea versus Leeds United game, if you know what I mean. So yeah, the season's not over yet. So there's so many games to go, so many games to go. But we'll just have to wait and see. So as usual, if you are new, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so that I never miss any of my content. Share this video to everybody, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you like this video. Let's get it past some. I want to see so many likes in this video, so let's see if we can do that. So without further ado, here we go. So let's start off with Newcastle against Wolverhampton Wanderers. That kicks off tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. At St James's Park. Now, of course, Wolves have won their last game against Aston Villa in the Midlands Derby, and for me, if that Aston Villa player would have put that chances away, they would have nicked a draw or perhaps got a win. So Wolves got very lucky. But congratulations to them. Newcastle United, I would have thought that they were the team that would get a draw against Tottenham Hotspur, but that didn't happen. They beat them twice, so unlucky for Newcastle. But I think tomorrow is going to be a difficult task for Wolverhampton Wanderers because going to St James's Park ain't going to be that easy. Everton went there, they've lost. Um, who else went there? Norwich got there and got a draw. Like it's going to St James Park because it ain't gonna be that easy because Newcastle fans will be up for it with the new owners, the new players Kieran Trippier, who else? Chris Wood, all these type of players. Alex and Maximan. I'm not sure if Callum Wilson's still there, but these Newcastle fans, the players are going to be up for it. So going to St James Park ain't going to be that easy for teams like Wolverhampton Wanderers. So for this game, I'm going to go for 2-1 Newcastle win because even though Wolves um, are starting to pick up points under their new manager, I just don't see them winning because they will score the first goal, don't mind me, but Newcastle will score twice to not making a comeback but to making an important win because last 3 games they've lost. They've lost against Chelsea, they've lost against Everton, and they've lost against Tottenham. So Newcastle, for me, they will definitely stay up. They will, but they need to stop picking up 3 points if they want to secure Premier League next season, which I know that they will. But so for this game, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Newcastle win. Now moving on into a big game. It's not the game of the weekend, but it's a big game. Everton against Manchester United. And boy, oh boy, Everton and our legend Lampard are in serious trouble. Because if you look at the table right now, Burnley have beaten Everton last night 3-2, including that last minute. And if you look at the table here, Burnley have got 24 points and Everton have got 25. So like I said, this season is going to be, like I told you, the title race is on, the top 4 race is on, and the relegation battle is on. So that's why I love the Premier League because it's the best league in the world, and we get to see some excitement, like who's going to be relegated, who's going to be in the top 4, who's going to win the title. So that's why we love the Premier League. Even I do as well. So yeah, like I said, Everton are in serious trouble. They have to win against Manchester United. They really do. Because if let's see, who have Burnley got? If Burnley beat Norwich City, then and Everton lose, that means they're going to be in 18th place in the relegation zone. So Everton has to get a win. They has to get a win, but it ain't going to be that easy because Manchester United haven't been that great this season. But for me, if you're a Manchester United fan, you ain't gonna like this, but I'm gonna go for probably like another 2-1 Everton win because Manchester United ain't been that great. I mean, they came against Leicester City, they've drawn. But can I be honest with you? They were so Leicester was so lucky not to do the double because they had a disallowed goal and they had so many chances. And for me, Leicester deserved to win that game. Even though in the second half Manchester United looked good, they haven't still find that quality. You know, they've been shit this season. Like I as a Chelsea fan, when they signed Varane and Ronaldo, I would have thought that they were the team like Chelsea are gonna at least challenge for the title, but that didn't happen. It really didn't happen. So Manchester United this season have been awful, and for me, Everton needs to get a win. And if Lampard can outclass Juan Hasenhüttl, then I'll be happy. But Lampard is in serious trouble because if Everton do get relegated, then he's going to get sacked, and it ain't going to be his fault. It's going to be the previous manager, Rafa Benitez's fault, because that I would have thought that you can make Everton like going to the European places, but unfortunately that didn't happen this season and last season. So Everton are in serious trouble. They have to get a win because if they get relegated, then I feel sorry for them because they're not a small club. They are a big club. And also, without Everton, they would have been a Merseyside derby. And like I mentioned before, Anfield and Everton are the closest stadiums ever in the UK. Like I'm not sure how many miles it is, but it ain't that long. Like from Goodison Park to Anfield ain't that long. You can walk, you can drive, you can cycle. The stadiums aren't that far. They're the closest stadiums ever in the UK. So without Everton, they would have been a Merseyside derby, and I'm always looking forward to that game. Even though Liverpool always like to beat Everton, there's sometimes like Everton last season, excuse me, beat them at Anfield. So without Everton, there will be any Merseyside derby, and I feel for them. I really feel for them. So for me, I'm going to go for 2-1 Everton win against Manchester United because if Manchester United win the top four and they would be like second or maybe third place, then I'll say Manchester United win. But because of they've been poor against teams they're supposed to beat, for me, I'm going to go for an Everton win. Now let's move on into Arsenal against Brighton. Of course, Brighton should have won against was it against what? No, not Watford. Sorry, against Norwich City. They really should have done. And Brighton was so unlucky not to do that. They had so many chances, like Neil Maupay cross-side, hits the post, missed chances. They've just been awful in that game. Even though they didn't lose, I feel like the fans were so frustrated by their team not scoring because I would have thought that Brighton this season will surprise everyone. Like they'll be like above the mid table. But in the last couple of games, they've been joined too many times. They've been losing a couple of times. So yeah, so Brighton haven't been that great. Whereas for Arsenal, their defeat against Crystal Palace cost them because not Everton, Tottenham Hotspur are above them by a goal difference, a better goal difference because Arsenal conceded 3 goals while Tottenham scored 5. So yeah, Arsenal need to get this win because if they actually bottom the top four, then then these fans are going to be embarrassed because if you remember in the Aston Villa game, the players and the fans were celebrating like they've already won the league or they're in the Champions League already. Listen, what I say to that is just be careful. If Arsenal were like 12 points ahead of Tottenham Hotspur, maybe 14 points ahead of Manchester United, I can accept that. But if your rivals Tottenham are like 3 points behind you, do not celebrate too much because they could beat Newcastle and you guys could lose to Crystal Palace, and that's exactly what happened. So just take your time. Take your time. You've got tough fixtures. Those games in hand are against Chelsea, Manchester United, and Tottenham. 3 tough games. So Arsenal fans need to be careful. They need to be careful. If they can win those games, then that's fine. I can accept that. But just be careful. But for this game, I'm gonna go for an Arsenal win because they're because they're good at the Emirates Stadium. They are lucky not to get at least decent result against Manchester City, and they've beaten Tottenham. Who else? They lost to Liverpool. Teams like Southampton, West Ham. Maybe Wolves. And these teams, like when they face that teams at Anfield, except for the big six, they always win. So for me, I'm gonna go for a 2-0 Arsenal win because they're just too good. Brighton, they will be disappointed and they're looking to have another decent point because if we remember in the game against Brighton at the Amex, Brighton had so many chances, and if it wasn't for that brilliant save from Aaron Ramsdale, Brighton would have just nicked a win. They would have. But for me, I'm going to go for an Arsenal win because I believe I believe they have a chance of being in the Champions League next season. Whether it depends if Tottenham and Man United pick up the points, if you know what I mean. But I'm going to go for a 2-0 Arsenal win. 2-0 Arsenal win is my prediction. The next game, Southampton against Chelsea. Now, this game, I mean, it has to be a must win for me. It has to be a must win. Like, honestly, we cannot lose to Brentford, then lose to Real Madrid in the Champions League, and then lose to Southampton because that would be like a dip. And like I said, the reason why it has to be a must win is because if Arsenal beat Brighton and Tottenham beat Aston Villa on Saturday, then we will be in big trouble. There will be like 2 points behind 2 points behind us, and that would be absolutely shocking for me if Chelsea are not going to be in the Champions League next season. And I definitely don't want Tottenham and Arsenal to be in it. I definitely don't. Only one of them can do it. Only one of them. But if both of them manage to do that, boy, I mean, I'll just be just angry and just disappointed. So that has to be a must-win game. For me, I think we will concede because our defense in the last two games have been that great, including Edouard Mendy. But I'm confident that we get to win because Southampton have never ever been Chelsea at their ground. I can't remember the last time they did that. I really can't. It used to be 4-1, 3-0, 1-1, just a couple of draws. I can't remember the last time that Southampton have beaten Chelsea at St. Mary's. I can't remember. Let me know in the comments down below if you remember. But for me, I'm gonna go for a tight 2-1 Chelsea win. It's a tight one because it's a tough going to St Mary's as usual when we play against Southampton, but I'm gonna go for 2-1. I'm confident that Chelsea will win, and we have to win because if we play and Thomas Tuchel needs to get the lineup right because if we play like we did against Real Madrid, we'll also get battered by Southampton. Whether it's 3-1 or 4-1, we'll get battered by them. So for me, I want to see a better Chelsea performance and a 3 points away to St Mary's on Saturday afternoon kickoff. So for me, 2-1 Chelsea is my prediction. Moving on into Leeds against Watford. I think Watford are going down. I mean, every time they bring in new managers, they always seem to fall down. Like no matter which manager they choose, they will always be relegated in the Premier League. And facing Leeds United ain't gonna be that easy because their new manager is starting to pick up points. Yes, they've drew to Southampton, but they're still unbeaten. Whereas for Watford, they've lost to Liverpool. They just keep on losing and losing and losing. So Watford have to get a win if they want to stay in the Premier League. But I don't see that happening. That's why I'm going to go for a 2-0 Leeds United win. I think they'll be just all over Watford. Of course, Watford will have maybe a few chances, but Leeds United will get more than them because the game against Southampton, they had a few chances, but they couldn't manage to put in the back of the net. And I know they'll do the same thing against Watford. It may not be like a big score like 3-0, 4-0, but I'm still gonna go for Leeds win because they're just too good. They're really too good. Moving on into Steven Gerrard against Antonio Conte, that is Aston Villa against Tottenham. Now, now the Newcastle game, I would have thought that it's going to be a draw because Newcastle lost their two games, whereas Tottenham they're starting to pick up form, so that's why I went for a draw. But for me, Tottenham are looking absolutely saucy under Antonio Conte. I tell you, they're a serious club. Like we cannot laugh at them. The only time we can laugh at them is that if that is if they're not winning trophies. But Antonio Conte, they're looking serious. And since those 3 games, they have scored more goals in the last 3 games than any other team. Like, can you believe it? Like, Antonio Conte is the experienced manager, and I know he can get the best out of these players. Whether it's and the new signing, I can't remember his name, and I can't remember it briefly, but he's Tottenham signing of the season because he was brilliant in the game against Newcastle, and 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 all of the games that he's playing, he's been brilliant. Like Antonio Conte is making Tottenham game back to the Champions League. So every time I predict a draw, I always get this wrong. So for this game, I fear for Aston Villa. I really do. Because Arsenal went there and beat them 1-0. So for this game, I'm going to go for a 2-0 Tottenham win. Because like I said, Antonio Conte is getting the best out of these players, and they're in the fourth place as I'm speaking right now. They're in fourth place. Yes, they can drop points, but for me, I just don't see that Tottenham just bottle it in the top four. I just really don't because they're looking serious right now. Looking serious, being like scoring 5 goals against 5 goals against Everton, 4 goals against Leeds United, 5 goals against Newcastle. So yeah, they're just looking good. For me, even though I want that game to be a draw, I just don't see that happening. I really don't. So 2-0 Tottenham Hotspur win is my prediction. Now moving on into Sunday, oh, another London derby between Brentford and West Ham United. This game I feel like this game is gonna be a draw. It really is because Brentford against Chelsea was really good in that game. They deserved to win. The way and those 4 goals was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And our defending for those 4 goals was shambolic. It really was. Whereas for West Ham United, they've beaten Everton 2-1. So this London derby is gonna be absolutely amazing. I'm definitely gonna watch that game. I definitely am. So for me, yeah, I don't think it will be the highest scoreline, but I'm going to go for a draw on this one 2-2 because both teams are looking good. Like I said, Brentford before the international break was not picking up 3 points, but the game against Chelsea, they were just brilliant and they deserved the 3 points. So I know that these fans were saying like they would say like, "Oh, we need to get a win. We need to put that same performance as we did against Chelsea on against West Ham on Sunday, if you know what I mean." So for me, yeah, and going to the community stadium ain't going to be that easy because Man City went there and managed to nick a 1-0 win. Chelsea went there, managed to nick a 1-0 win as well. Manchester United beat them 3-1, which is good. Liverpool went there and drew 3-3, whereas for Arsenal, they've lost 2-0. So going to the community stadium ain't going to be that easy for West Ham United. That's why I don't see one team winning this game. So that's why I'm going to win for going for a draw 2-2 because, like I said, both teams in the last game looked really good and they've got the 3 points. So 2-2 is my prediction. Like I could be wrong. Maybe West Ham would nick a 2-1 win, but I don't see that happening. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw between that game. Leicester City against Crystal Palace. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. This is going to be an interesting one. For this one, I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw because Crystal Palace a game against Arsenal was really good. In the first half, they were just all over Arsenal. In the second half, Arsenal were good, but when it comes to scoring goals, they couldn't manage to do that in that game. They really couldn't. Whereas for Leicester City, they were unlucky not to get a win because they had the disallowed goal. They had so many chances, if you know what I mean. So both teams got a decent result. Well for Crystal Palace and for Leicester against the big clubs. So I'm gonna go for 2-2. I mean, my head is telling me Crystal Palace win, but my heart is telling me a draw. Like, I want to believe my head because the brain is a smart one, but I have to believe my heart. It's got to be a draw because Crystal Palace are doing what under Patrick Vieira, like going like they're into the semi-final against Chelsea. So Crystal Palace are doing well under Patrick Vieira. For Leicester City, they're starting to be getting back to getting decent points against tough opposition. So for me, Huge game, but I'm going to go for a draw, 2-2. Now, Norwich City against Burnley. Now, this is an interesting one. This is an interesting one. Of course, Norwich City have drew against Brighton in the last game, whereas for Burnley, they've lost to City, but in that game in hand against Everton, they managed to nick a win. Like, I don't know about you guys, but boy, I'm not sure what to predict on this one. I feel like this will be like a nil-nil draw. Like it will be a boring game because remember in the Burnley versus Norwich City game it was nil-nil at Turf Moor. So for this game, I'm gonna go for nil-nil. For me, Norwich City are going down. For Burnley, they have a chance. If they win against Norwich and Everton lost, they'll be out of the relegation zone for the first time in like in a in like 6 or 7 months, like into the Premier League. So yeah, so for this game, it's going to be a boring game. Don't get me wrong. It could be a 2-0 Burnley win, but Norwich got lucky that they didn't lose in that game. So for me, it's tough to say, but it could be a 2-0 Burnley win or it could be a draw. But for me, I'm going to go for nil-nil. It's going to be a boring game. It really is. And I'm looking forward to this one. If I'm lucky enough, I might be doing a live watch along to one of the big games, the game of the season, the title race team. Manchester City against Liverpool. I am looking forward to that game. Kevin De Bruyne against Mo Salah, two of the best players in their club. For this game, this whoever wins this game will definitely win the league. And these two will be facing each other in the FA Cup semi final next weekend. And for me, whoever wins that game in the Premier League will definitely win the FA Cup and go through to the FA Cup final. Like, for example, if Man City beat Liverpool, that means Man City will definitely beat Liverpool in the FA Cup. If Liverpool beat Man City in the Premier League, then Liverpool would definitely beat Man City in the FA Cup. If you know what I mean. For this game, it's tough, It's tough because both teams are in the title race. Of course, Liverpool went to Benfica and beat them 3-1, and Man City went to Atletico Madrid and managed to nick a 1-0. Even though Atletico Madrid are still in this, Man City had the decent chances, but Phil Foden, he's become one of the best young players in the Premier League because when he came on, that 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 assist for Kevin De Bruyne was absolutely fantastic. He was exceptional in that game against Atletico Madrid. Absolutely exceptional. And I have to say, well done. Congratulations to Luis Diaz, who scored for Liverpool. And that is in the Champions League against Benfica. Like the two closest rivals are Porto against Benfica. So, and I want to say in that game, whoever threw that bottle at Luis Diaz he needs to get banned for life. Because listen, even though it's not okay for for your rival player to score, at least be happy for him. Like don't throw in bottles because if you do that, you will injure him. So for me, throwing bottles, objects, and anything against the players who are scoring goals is unacceptable. It needs to be stopped. So the fan who threw the bottle at Luis Diaz should get banned and should never ever be in the stadiums again. Maybe it could be one or maybe it could be more than that. But whoever did that should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed. I'm sorry, like that should never happen. But focus on this game, big game. Um, for me, when these two faced each other, it was 2-2, and I think it's going to be the same thing again. It's going to be 2-2. I think Liverpool will score first, then it will be Manchester City, and then Liverpool will score again, and then it will be Manchester City. So there's just no way I can see one team winning this game. They aren't. These teams look really, really good. But if Man City would have been like 14 points ahead of Liverpool, then I would have gone for Man City win. But guess what? Liverpool are a point behind them. So for me, this will mean so much to both teams because, like I said, whoever wins that game will 100% win the league and will win the title. Like honestly, like I want Liverpool to do it because Man City always dominate the Premier League. They always win it under Pep Guardiola. For me, I want Liverpool to win it, but it's gonna be tough. It's really gonna be tough in that game. So we just have to wait and see. So that is it. So my 2-2 prediction between Liverpool and Manchester City on Sunday, and I'm looking forward to that game. If I'm lucky enough, I might be doing a live watch alongs with that because I'm looking forward. I know you guys will too. I know you would too. So that is it. That is my prediction. So before I end this video, let me go through my predictions one more time. So Friday, Newcastle against Wolverhampton Wanderers. I'm going for a 2-1 Newcastle win. Everton against Manchester United, I've gone for a 2-1 Everton win. I went for a 2-0 Arsenal win between Arsenal and Brighton. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Chelsea win against Southampton. I'm going to go I went for a 2-0 Leeds win against Watford at Vicarage Road. I went for a 2-0 Tottenham win against Aston Villa, even though I want that game to be a draw. Brentford against West Ham United. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw in that game. Leicester City against Crystal Palace. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw because, like I said, both teams are looking really good. Well, Palace are doing brilliant than Leicester City at the moment. But I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. Norwich City against Burnley. I'm going to go for a boring 0-0, even though I do think Burnley will win. I'm still going to go for 0-0. And last and not least, I went for a Man City 2, Liverpool 2 in the game of the season, and that's in the title race. So that is it, guys. That is the end of my Premier League predictions on match day 32. Even though it's game week 28, it's on match day 32. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, give this a thumbs up. If you are new, hit the subscribe button, hit the bonus notification so that I never miss any of my content, and share this video to everybody so that whether they will agree or disagree with my predictions, and let me know in the comments down below what's your predictions for the Premier League this weekend, and let's see and I'll tell you guys if you got all of them right. For me, my job is to get all of it right if I could, because so far I've gotten 8 points and I have to beat that. I really do. So hopefully this weekend I'll be able to get more than 8 points, and if I do, I'm starting to get better, if you know what I mean. So that is it. And don't forget to tune in on Monday, where I'll be reacting to my Premier League predictions on match day 32. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. And don't forget, tomorrow's video is going to be a match preview between Chelsea and Southampton. And hopefully there has to be a must-win game for Chelsea, because if we play like that, we are indeed trouble in terms of in the top four and in terms of securing third place, if you know what I mean. So we have to do that. But that will be explained in tomorrow's video. So make sure you stay tuned, also tuned for that one. So thank you guys so much for watching.